use a website. The search actually works. 4 sisters. Mark probably gonna do well with sisters, to be honest. 1,000 Suns, only 2. Blood Angles. 4+, because it could people under Space Marines. Did you see my list name? I didn't. Let's have a look. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and the master of a million worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the Dark Age technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never truly die. Yet even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the demon-infested miasma of the warp, the only route between distant stars, their way lit by the Astronomicon. In the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will, vast armies give battle in his name on uncounted worlds. Greatest among his soldiers are the Adepts of Astartes, the Space Marines, bioengineered super warriors. Their comrades and arms are legion, the Astral Militarum are countless planetary defense forces for the ever-vigilant Inquisition, and the Tech Priests, the Adepts Mechanicus, to name only a few, but for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat of aliens, for heretics, mutants, and worse. To be a man in such times is one of untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. There are tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never been relearned. Forget the promise of the progress and understanding, for in the grim dark of the far future there is only war, and there is no peace among the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Well, if you spent more time on your list, or your army choice, than you did at this fucking title, I reckon you do better this weekend. He's running Death Guard. He's going to do bad. Right, okay, next. It's Plague Marines. It's Death Shroud. And War Dogs. Cop out. Cop out. Where's Mortarion? Leagues of Joe Tan. Is that Little Joe? Hi, Little Joe. Is that Little Joe? Joe's coming to explain his list. Joe, can I phone you? Little-ish. Joe, I'm going to phone you. Is that right?
Hello.
Joe.
Yes.
My angel, my beautiful.
Hello.
What the fuck is going on with this list, bro?
So Seth and the priest go with the 10 intercessors in a redeemer.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And then a captain with 6 blade guard and a captain and 6 blade guard go in the other redeemer.
Right.
Right? And then it just goes forward.
It just drives.
It just drives.
Do you not like Death Company?
But they're too many points.
No, they're not.
They're way too many points, and like they're really like everyone knows how to deal with Death Company now.
I know, like as of next week, they're a bit weirder, but like 10 Inferno Pistols and 10 Fists is like really cool.
So I built 10 Death Company in 9th with 10 Thunder Hammers.
Yeah.
And then that went away. And then I just couldn't be bothered for a really long time to do more Death Company. And then like when the Codexes started coming out, I was like, I can't be bothered to change them because like they're gonna go. Like I guessed very, very early on that we're not gonna have fun Death Company anymore. They're just gonna be Primaris done for Death Company.
So you were just like, you know what, just fuck them all off. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, because I looked at the Dark Angel release and they lost loads of stuff, and I was like, I don't want to have to go out and buy loads of stuff that's gonna go. Like, I don't want to waste my money, so I was like, I'll just bank on Primaris stuff.
This is just any Space Marine list. Also, there's 5 Sangard there.
Yeah,
It's quite funny.
because they're quite resilient, you know. They can go off and deal with stuff. They're -1 to hit, -1 to wound. They can just go and hold up something.
What you gonna do with Gabriel Seth as of after this weekend?
So he's gonna become a captain.
Okay.
So a little rant. I don't like. I like and I hate the new Blood Angels Codex.
Okay, hot take.
Because they've put 4 pointless captains in.
4 pointless captains. You don't like the Death Company captain?
You've got two Death Company captains and 2 Blood Angels captains, right? Right.
Wait, which is the second Blood Angel captain? You got the Blood Angel captain. What's the second one?
Well, there's a Death Company captain on foot, one on jump pack.
That's 2.
And then there's a normal captain on foot and a normal captain with a jump pack.
What in this? Is there one in? No, there's only 1 Blood Angels captain in here. There's not one with jump pack in here. Okay, I got confused and I was like, wait a minute, have I missed an entire data?
I thought there was 4. But
no,
I was like,
there's 3, but that's the point stands.
I completely disagree with Death Company captains, right?
Right. You're not a fan.
Because if you've gone nuts before the battle, they take away your rank, they take away all your honours, they put you in new armour, and then they just send you out with the other ones, right?
But then
he ain't leading anyone.
Give you a new name badge. Like you're Crazy Andy rather than just Andy.
Yeah, you're not Captain Andy anymore.
you're Captain Crazy Andy.
Right? And for the last 10 editions, bar 1 edition where they put them in for some reason and then got rid of them rightfully, is that they've already got people to lead Death Company called chaplains.
Yeah, I get that.
And if a captain falls to the Black Rage during combat, they're not going to be like, hang on, paint his armour black.
Yeah, that's true. Because they even need chaplains around.
Yeah.
To keep him in line. Crazy Andy needs his carer.
Yeah, they need a chaplain to make him slightly better anyway. So I completely disagree with. And it's like if they're going to go through the effort.
I love how you're so polite. You're like, I completely disagree. Not to be like that's stupid.
I've played good cop with Liam for so long. I've learned how to control myself.
Actually, I'm morally against Death Company captains. Actually.
Yeah, I hate them with a passion because they're not in. They don't exist within the realms of the fluff or the narrative.
They are a bit weird.
They go through the effort of mentioning Seth in the book. They put narrative of Seth in the book when they mention
the copy and paste.
The Flesh Tearers. They gave them transfers.
Yeah.
And then they took the character away. They said we're going to go through the effort of having to balance and put in 3 new captains, but we won't copy and paste Seth's rules.
And you can't even take a Blood Angels captain with a Viscerator either.
No, so you can take the Blood Angels captain with the Chainsword.
Yeah.
And then you can give him the enhancement for 1 turn that gives him sustained hits 2 or 3.
I can hear you tearing up while you're talking about it.
And then it hurts me so much.
How do we get as close as... Because if you could take a captain with a Viscerator, you'd be like, yeah, fair enough. That's how they're doing Seth now. But you can't even do that. That's crazy.
But you can just make a much worse version of Seth for 1 turn.
Nice. I'm glad, and that's all you're gonna get, and you're gonna be happy, and you're gonna say thank you for this wonderful meal, Games Workshop.
It's like if you open up your lunchbox as a kid, and like you're expecting like the same lunch that you've been getting for ages, and then you open it and it's empty because you forgot to do your lunch. You know. That's the level of disappointment, isn't it? I really hear it. I can feel it. I can feel the disappointment. I absolutely love Blood Angels, but I really fucking love Flesh Tearers. Yeah. I really love that. And what hurts me the most, right, is we just had the Chaos Space Marine book come out, and that's got Huron Backheart in it. It does. He's a fine cast model that you can't get hold of anymore. It is weird because the Necron one had one as well. They had trays in. Yeah, and the Space Marine Codex has got Vulcan Heston. It's got Pedro Cantor. That's more than double the Blood Angels. Yeah. These are like the Imperial Fists get 2 successor chapters. No one else does. That also true, yeah. And they've got multiple plastic characters, and they've still got Lysander, who hasn't seen a tabletop in 10 years, maybe. Yeah, it was like before we saw the Codex, I was like, I understand if they get rid of Seth. I'd kind of prepared myself mentally.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like watching a car crash you knew was going to happen.
Because you can just paint his armor black now.
No, I'm going to keep him as he is, and I'm going to run him as the exact same Blood Angels captain with the exact same enhancement.
Nice.
And the exact same, like, relic. Every single game.
It's like he's got a personality disorder, except for, like, one turn where he gets sustained hits.
Yeah. It's so, like, and he's only good if you put him with a priest in Assault Intercessors as well.
Mm.
He's worse in every other lineup of unit as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I appreciate the insight, Joe. This was nice.
That's all right. I'm going to go back to crying about the Blood Angel.
Yeah, one more run. I
think in the end of the day, I think Games Workshop, like, if you buy Seth, you don't buy any other Blood Angel stuff because you're a Flesh Terrors player. So if we get rid of Seth, you have to buy all of the Blood Angel stuff.
Yeah, not realizing that people were just buying loads of Space Marines to go with Seth.
Yeah.
Can you still buy Seth? Is he still in stock?
No, he went last chance to buy.
Oh, was he on that rotation?
Over a year ago. Yeah, he was on the rotation thing.
Right.
And like at the time, if you bought him when they said it went live, it would take a year for you to get him. So people would have got him in February to lose him now.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's awful. That's so bad. That's almost as bad as what they did to the Beastman. When they bought him out, then 6 months later said they're getting rid of the army.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
So this is the last. So I don't care if I lose all of my games this weekend. I'm just going to run a tally of how much stuff Seth can kill.
It's like a montage at the end of a film.
Yeah.
Of someone who passed away.
Yeah, this is Hellstorm All Stars, the last battle of Seth.
It's Seth's world, and we're just living in it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
That's all right. I will see you in a couple of days.
You will. It'd be very cool. All right, man.
All right, then.
Have a nice evening. Right. Nice to chat to you.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Oh, what a guy. What an absolute legend Joe is. I love that man to bits. He's so funny. He sounds better. He does sound better, yeah, for sure. So there you go. That's Joe's list. That's Joe's plan with Gabriel Seth this weekend. And that does lead us on to a very good discussion about the Blood Angels Codex. Okay. Now, the Blood Angels Codex went on pre-order this weekend. As I said, I've already played a game with it on stream because we're away this weekend doing Super All-Stars. You have to spell it Seth now as well. That's true. But I'm sure a lot of people have got opinions. And if you've got an opinion about the Blood Angels Codex, now's the time. But obviously, I haven't done a proper review yet. I haven't done a review because everyone else does one. The book leaked last week, so I couldn't be bothered to film one. But I thought I could talk about my thoughts about the Blood Angels Codex as a whole. And basically some of the things that I'm interested in playing, because I've been playing Blood Angels for a little while. I've been playing Blood Angels competitively relatively well. And you might be able to get your hands on one of these because we have a Blood Angels box set that we are raffling off this weekend at Super All-Stars. As you can see, we have a whole last Blood Angels box that's being given away this week. So if you're attending Super All-Stars, if you'd like to enter the raffle, this is one of many prizes that are being entered. So it's going to be very sick. So we're giving away a whole Blood Angels box. But no, we are giving away Blood Angels army box with models. So obviously it's a very cool box. Games Workshop sent me this one, but we are raffling it away, and it's going to be very sick. So if you'd like this, then and you're coming to the event, then you might be able to win. But it comes with It comes with a codex, and the codex does a lot of things. The problem I've been having, because I've been wanting to like put my thoughts into video and talk about the Blood Angels Codex as a whole. The problem I'm having is we don't have any points, okay? We don't have any points. Which is like, a lot of people are talking about how good Blood Angels are. But nobody knows how many points he's at. Because, like, the thing is with it is, as always, people start putting lists together and they go, well, I'm using the Codex points. They do give you points in the back of the book, but none of it is, like, really relevant, okay? Because what they do is they give you the points and then they go, they are going to be updated in the Munitorum Field Manual, okay? Because they're always out of date, because this is printed, I don't know when this is printed, this is definitely printed this year, because it will, or maybe late last year, because it has the Liberator Assault Forces, the updated Blood Angels detachment, which is updated in January. But things like, some things are just well expensive, like the Death Company Dreadnought is 220 points, and I'm pretty sure the Brutalis is like 160 or something, okay? And obviously that's pretty crazy. Like 60 points to change the ability is like not worth it. Can I buy raffle tickets remotely? No, you can't, Steve. You're gonna have to turn up. 60-point tax for a therapy bill. Yeah, for sure. Because like the data sheet's the same, barring the ability and the fact that it loses OC if there's no chaplain nearby. But otherwise, it's just a Brutalis Dreadnought. I'll get them for you. I mean, if you want to, yeah, that's fine. So, like, the points are really out of whack. So anything we do say is kind of, like, with that little caveat of, like, until we know points. Okay? Because there's a lot of things in here that are really, really interesting. Now, obviously, elephant in the room. Death Company have lost so much utility. They've lost so many options. Obviously, the fact that you could take 10 Inferno Pistols and 10 Power Fists was really, really good. The fact that you could take Sanguinary Guard with 10 Inferno Pistols is really, really good. But obviously, you can't do that now. Now, essentially what they've done is they've made Death Company, like, half the damage output a unit of 10, right? Because, like, 5 of them can still take a special weapon. And those special weapons are all pretty comparable to Power Fists. So you can take 3 Power Fists, 2 Eviscerators, which are strength 7 rather than strength 8. They are the same AP, they have the same damage, but they have sustained hits. But they only hit on 4s, so it's kind of like swings and roundabouts. But you could really say 5 of the models in your 10-man unit that you used to run in is like very similar. It's gonna feel the same. But what you lose is the pistols. You're gonna have like 2 Inferno, 2 Plasma. That's probably gonna be like, in my opinion, if you're not, you could probably arguably take 4 Plasma, but I think 2 Inferno, 2 Plasma is pretty decent because they're like that. That's like the maximum you can take, right? Or is it 2 Plasma? For every 5 models, 1 Plasma. For every 5 models, I mean, it's 1 Plasma, not 2 Plasma. I'm going to buy my 1 raffle ticket once again. Deal. Watching him trying to read the numbers might be funny. Watching him try to read them last year. Oh, right. You're about getting Joe to buy raffle tickets. Right, okay. So Death Company basically aren't quite the hammer that they were, obviously, because they are half as, against large targets, they are like half as damaging because they only have half the amount of weapons. But they are still a really good unit. But I'm just curious to see how many points they'll be. Because, again, Death Company are currently 280 points. Because they can take 10 Inferno Pistols and 10 Fists. And they went up recently to that because of this. Now, in the Codex, they are 230. So that's like, if they're 230, I think that's probably like a pretty good number for them. But again, we don't really know. They might be 250. They might be 270 for all I know. Plasma damage 2, hazardous. Inferno's a damage D3. Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is, that's the best gun loadouts you can take. Now, the plasmas are actually really interesting because if you are running the Death Company detachment like I was running on Saturday, you can try and force hazardous to lose model to make yourself better because of all of the stratagems and the main ability for that detachment is whilst you're below starting strength, which is like really, really good. If you're below starting strength, you reroll 1s to hit. If you're below half strength, you reroll all wounds, or reroll 1s to wound and then all wounds. My apologies. So So you can actually use the plasma pistols to like pop your head and then gain the benefit. But I do think that detachment, where we should go on to detachments and then data sheets. The Lost Brethren I felt really good about it, and I was like, you know what, it's actually pretty decent. But I think the only problem is with the Lost Brethren, which is the Death Company detachment. Everyone's saying it's the worst one, and it is the worst one. I think my tweet summed it up pretty convincingly. It popped off a little bit because I tweeted the other day, as you can see, the Death Company detachment sucks. We'll see live now. Post a picture of my Astaroth, which I'll also be raffling off away this weekend. We're giving away a fully painted Astaroth. I got my Chaplain with the Death Company. We've got the Death Company captain at the time with the Death Company. We got Lamarty's, my favourite model, one of the best models I've ever painted, I think, with the Death Company. And I was like, does it suck? We'll see about that. And then as soon as the end of the game, after Niall handed my arse to me, I did say it does. Which got as many likes as the original tweet, which I thought was very funny. But I think like that game in particular, I was playing against an extremely heavy shooting army with a combat army, which is always going to be like an uphill battle. And all the stratagems are really good, but they're all basically designed around combat, whether that's being in combat or being attacked in combat, for example. But basically, I think the detachment is pretty good, but I think obviously the other two have a lot more utility, because like all of these stratagems are really good if you are fighting in combat. The only one that's like not related to combat is Glorious Sacrifice, and that's about you losing units. Now you losing units is good because basically Glorious Sacrifice is 1 CP. If you are killed on an objective, a Death Company unit, then you can stick in the objective with that unit that just died, and you keep it under your control until you don't have it, which is actually really good for a lot of missions in the game right now. Because if you look at a lot of terrain packs these days, the objectives, a lot of the No Man's Land objectives, especially on GW layouts, are actually quite open. Like you'd expect like a lot of objectives to have like terrain cover in them, so or at least like half covered, so one person can be in the cover and then someone has to go and attack or whatever. But a lot of the Games Workshop layouts, you'll find that the objectives are actually like right out in the open. I also rolled pretty badly into those broadsides. Oh, I mean, yeah, I could sit here and say my dice rolls were shit. This is an analysis on my game in particular. But basically what I'm saying is the detachment has less utility, because if you just look at the bad dice rolls, then you're not going to learn from it, because if I rolled better I would have won. Yeah, maybe that probably is the case. It's a dice game, but you can't analyze and learn from that. But what I'm saying is like if you look at like a lot of the layouts, you know, like this is the GW one. Look at this. This is the fucking wide open look. You know, this is from our tournament, but these layouts are from GW. That middle objective is wide open. You're going to be playing on the outside. Now, if you had Death Company on this mission in particular, ran to the middle and stick in that objective, that's going to be very hard for your opponent to go and get again, because whatever they put on there, they're also losing for a Glorious Sacrifice. You know, this one again because it's the same. This one again because it's the same. This one, very open in the middle, as you can see. These ones are relatively covered. Middle ones, wide open. Wide open. And then these, you've got two here, but you can't really hide behind them. These are ruins, but they're like pretty open. There's no walls on them, really. Like, they're all like very open. So like this stratagem is like really interesting, because there's a lot of stratagems that are like sticky in the command phase. But if you want to do that, if you move a unit to the middle of the board to grab an objective and then it dies, you don't have a command phase to sticky it, whereas this stratagem allows you to do that at any phase. So your opponent, what you can kind of do is like set yourself up where your opponent can't walk onto the objective, they shoot the Death Company, then you sticky it, then you've left it for your primary next turn. It's actually a really, really strong stratagem when you can start thinking of like, actually a lot of tables don't have every objective covered, and you are going to have to throw units away, and you can kind of get the up on primary by using that. And that's just like the first stratagem, just looking at that. But the problem is the Death Company detachment, as I said, except for Armor Contempt, which single thing has, and Abandon Charge, which is exclusively Death Company in this one, whereas the other two are all Astartes units. it's all about being good in combat. It's hitting back in combat after you die. It's giving yourself extra strength. Obviously, they're all like really crucial, but the problem is there's not much utility. The real utility comes into Angelic Host, you know? Angelic Host is probably the second best, because I think Liberator Assault, which is the other one, the Sons of Sanguinius, which has had quite a revamp considering what it was Sons of Sanguinius. Angelic Host, it feels weaker because Liberator is more raw power, whereas Angelic Host is so much about playing around with the army and playing around the board, and it's the one I'm most excited to play, actually. As I said, I was going to play this one on stream the other day, but without the points, I was just a bit like, we're not going to learn anything, and I wanted to wait until the points are out, which again, we might be waiting like 2 weeks. I don't know. They might go next weekend. The Blood Angels Codex is on pre-order. Very unlikely. We might be waiting a month. We might be waiting 2 months, you know. We don't really know. Because these FOMO boxes are just that. They're designed for fear of missing out. They're trying to get you on board onto playing Blood Angels because you want the new characters and stuff like that. You want the Codex. But the Codex isn't actually legal in any events until it's on the shelf, you know. So, like, not just my events, like Games Workshop events in general, and pretty much every event you've played at, the FOMO Codex isn't legal because there's no points, you know. You don't know how many points the Sandguard is going to be. They're 50 points a model in this book, which is a little high. I think closer to 40 is going to be more reasonable, but we don't have an official answer just yet because it's not out yet. You know, this is essentially like a preview, just to have a nosy at the rules, and it's to get people to order it early, you know. But the Angelic Host is the uppy downy. So choose 2 jump pack units, which you are always taking jump pack units because you're a combat army, you need the speed. And obviously this has advance and charge as well, which it's so nice to have advance and charge. I actually bought a Space Wolves army to play Wolf Jail because of advance and charge. Because what I was finding playing Blood Angels is that so many people just outplay and outrange you and give you crazy charges. They're always a bit like, because essentially when you're playing against Blood Angels, the best thing you can do is kill them before turn 3, you know, because then you have a couple of turns to kind of like play the mission and score points, because the Blood Angels is very aggressive, so people kind of like want to leave range and leave gaps to you. So essentially you'll go, shall we do a drawing? You know, if you've got like fucking, I don't know, you got like a building here. These are where your Blood Angels are. You know, you're sat here. It is your death company with jump packs, let's say. There's the little jump packs. Beautiful. What they'll do, people just go, okay, well, basically, right, you're here, and my unit's here, okay? What I'm going to do is make sure this is always more than like 22. You know? It's like 23 inches. It could even be 24.1. But essentially what people do will just try and sit anywhere on the board where they are always very far away. So if you do end up coming out, you move 12, you know, your new charge distance is always going to be 10 or more, you know. Because what they don't want you to do is hit them in combat. And then you kind of have to start playing in ways. You just have to start advancing and trying to stage somewhere else. Maybe you get into like a building up here, for example. You know, maybe you go to a building down there. The problem is trying to hide long enough that you can close the gap and make combat. And it's like super crucial, because if what the opponent is trying to do is put you in positions where you can charge next turn, but they can then come and counteract, you know, and they can come around here and start shooting you and stuff. That's what they always want to do. So it's very frustrating as a Blood Angels player to be put in this position where you can't stage properly because you are too far away. And what they want to do is just wait for you to come out, and then either they'll score loads of points because they can play the mission. They've got loads of like sacrificial units. like just like shit units and go do actions or hold objectives or whatever, and then you have to, because you're a Blood Angels army, usually you have to just go and hit them, and then that unit dies, which is like why Assault Intercessors are so good. Assault Intercessors with jump pack, sorry, because they are fast, they do hit pretty hard, but they're also really cheap, so you don't mind kind of like throwing them away and just like killing a shitty unit and then hiding somewhere like here, for example, and then next turn they are dead, but they're only 80 points, so you don't mind. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you almost feel stuck because you can't even deep strike a lot of the time, because if this is the hammer units that the opponent's got, what they'll do is they'll just set up screens as well behind them, and they'll put some shitty cheat units out here, and then you're deep striking like over here in these corners. So you're like deep striking in your deployment zone. I've played against Sisters, GSC, well, not GSC, sorry, Sisters, Tau. I've got GSC in front of me. Sisters, Tau, all those types of armies just have so much crap to put in the way that you can't get to them, because you need... Blood Angels are really good at shooting, at fighting, but they're just not good at shooting. And if you are investing units to shoot stuff, then that's just less combat potential, you know? But the fact that you have advancing charge in every detachment just changes this dynamic so much, because now if you're in this building, your minimum move is now 13, okay? So now they've got to be more than... let's say this is 13. This has got to be 23, which it doesn't sound a lot, you know, because the minimum move with an advance is a 13-inch move. But on average, you're rolling a 3 or a 4, you know? So this 12 is going up to like a 15/16. I know I might be teaching people to suck eggs here, of like, oh, well, yeah, we get it, Mikey, you can advance and charge. But now then that puts them back to closer to like more than 26 away, which pushes them back here, which pushes them further out of the game, because 24 inches is not actually that massive, you know. 24 inches isn't that massive, but pushing them towards 26 or potentially shorter, because 16 inches is like an average move. You could move 18, and if they go, right, we'll go more than 26 away, and then you move 18, you've got like an 8-inch charge, which is like doable with a CP reroll a lot of the time. Hey, Mikey, just wanted to mention you have fantastic MS Paint skills. Thanks, appreciate it. So having every detachment have access to, because I think if the only one detachment in this book had advance and charge, that would be the detachment everyone plays. But the fact that they gave it to all three is just like insanely good as a Blood Angels player, or insanely scary if you are not a Blood Angels player. Definitely, for sure. But yeah, I think the Angelic Host is like a really interesting one. As I said, it's got a lot of really decent enhancements. I'm pretty sure there's a fight first one in here, or is that in the, that might be the other detachment actually. Yeah, it's got a bunch of really nice enhancements, but the main one is the detachment rule, right? The uppy downy, as it were. It's great. It's so good. It's just very, very strong. Is it just me looking at a dick? If your dick looks like that, I'd be very worried. I'd be very, very worried. But yeah, so this one you have Unbridled Ardour, or Ardour. It's just you, yeah. The Demolisher. So basically, when you lose a unit for 1 CP, you can make all your Sanguinary Guard reroll hits and wounds against that unit until the end of the game. Which, again, what you can start playing with is if you have, like, let's clean this up, shall we? Let's clean this up. If you have, like, let's say, here's your ruins, you know, we played on a GW style board or whatever, and then this is your deployment zone, and then there's an objective in the middle, okay, and then you've got like fucking, I don't know, maybe some more Sandguard in here or whatever. Your Sandguard are chilling in here. But then you got unit in reserve. I should roll 6 because they're not unit 5 anymore. Or you got like a unit in reserve or whatever. Turn 1, or game at the beginning of the game, you infiltrate some fucking scouts into the middle. You know, grab that objective. Let's go, baby. All right, let's get it. We got it. Right, your opponent's turn 1, what they do is they shoot them and kill them. You know, with whatever they've got. Well, whatever. It's usually because they want to keep this range, you know, because they want to keep this distance, whether that's Death Company or Sangard, they're going to use something with relatively long range. Which is usually like big stuff. It's usually good units, you know. It's usually like a fucking, oh, I've got like a hammerhead, you know. Let's say we've got a hammerhead and we're just going to just fucking kill these. Is it just I see achievement? Does that look like a booby? But if you think about it, if you wanted to kill just like quite consistently kill, you're going to use something at long range because you want to make sure you are retaining this distance because you don't want to get countercharged. You know, you don't want to be like, right, okay, I'll bring a unit here to kill these, and then whatever that is, the Sangard just come out and kill it with advantage charge. So you'll use something at long range to just get rid of these cheap, shitty units. And then you can just use that 1 CP, your 6 Sangard, and however many Sangards you've got in reserve, suddenly reroll all hits and wounds against it, which just makes them just such a huge target to just like come in, deep strike, rapid ingress or whatever, and just try and deal with it. Because I think that this is going to like catch a lot of people out with the fact that you can use like cheat units like scouts to go grab objectives in the open, and your opponent's going to try and kill them quite easily, you know, and because they just need to get rid of them to stop you holding primary, and then you have such a good counter for it. The best part about advanced charge strat is that it's only after you advance. Yeah, for sure. It's after you advance or fall back usually. So let's say you've got 2 units behind this wall. You know, you got another one here. You can roll the advance on this one, and let's say you roll a 2. All right, that's shit. And then you roll the advance on this one, you roll another 2, and you go, right, I'm going to CP reroll, and I actually roll a 6. Then you can spend 1 CP for Death from the Skies to get advance and charge. So you kind of have like multiple chances to do, which is quite cool. Obviously, use CP makes it more expensive. You need to come up and reroll, but yeah, so basically, like this stratagem just opens up so much because Sangard do look very, very good now. As I said, they're basically flying Blade Guard. And Blade Guard are not bad, don't get me wrong. The problem is with Blade Guard, they're really slow and they need transport. What about just fucking strapping a jump pack on them, you know? Just strap a jump pack on the back of them. Now, I can't remember what Blade Guard's ability is, but I would, any day, I would take -1 to hit and -1 to wound while there's a character attached, compared to what they have. Shall we find out? Because they are just essentially flying Sangard. Flying Blade Guard. What do Blade Guard do these days? Oh, they got the shield ability, haven't they? Reroll a hit roll of 1 or reroll a saving throw of 1. No, I will take -1 to wound, please. at T4. Love the fact that Mikey is telling everyone watching my tactics for coming weekend and how to deal with them. You're not using Angelic Host. What? You're not running Angelic Host. You don't have it. You don't have advanced charge. You're just watching on like a 15-minute delay. So obviously that's like a really good ability of just being like, here's some cheap shitty units on objectives. Okay, the bulk of the hammers of my army now are just going to take those out a lot easier. And you have to, again, as you still have fuck, I fucked that sentence. And you still have access to advance and charge, which is obviously really good. The big one though is obviously Angel Sacrifice. This is going to be like super good, just with like cheat units again, like Assault Intercessors. Obviously, Angel Sacrifice is basically you choose one of your units, and then when your opponent selects targets, if they have to choose that unit. or if they're in engagement range, obviously if they're within an inch of it or half an inch or whatever. So Angel Sacrifice is one of those that's going to, like, your opponent has to prepare for it, and they can prepare for it, but it's not going to be, like, super easy to do. It's not quite the same as it used to be, because they had this stratagem similar to this. This was characters only, and you essentially if you're in combat, if your unit's in combat with this model or character, you have to attack the character. It's not quite like that. That's what it was like in 9th edition, but it's very similar. It's just not quite as powerful as that. But it is also a very, very good stratagem, because if you charge in and wrap something with a shit unit and they interrupt, you can force them to interrupt into the worst unit that you, maybe the one that's already fought, or one that you don't want to get it hit, you know, charge assault intercessors and Vanguard. You know, the intercessors go around the back, they do loads of mortal wounds, they pile in and fight, they don't really kill much, and then they go, I'm going to interrupt, try and kill a Vanguard. You go, okay, I'm going to Angel Sacrifice to make you fight the assault intercessors that have already fought, which is cool. Liberating Up and Downy will both be great because they both have advanced in charge. Well, so does Lost Brethren. They all do. It's just Death from the Skies is jump pack only. Lost Brethren is exclusively Death Company, and it's one or the other unless you've got a chaplain nearby. And I think which one is it? Relentless Assault, is it? Oh, it's Aggressive Onslaught. It's 2 separate stratagems for advance and charge and fall back and charge. Golden Host, you can also use Angel Sacrifice and then Unbridled Ardoise to a 1-2 combo. Yeah, that's true. You can force people to fight a unit that's in combat with. Let's say you charge fucking like Angron or something with turn 1 with some scouts, force him to kill him, and then just use Unbridled Ardoise. Ardoise. Chat, how do you pronounce it? Chat, I don't know how to pronounce it, bro. What else do you have? Martial Exemplars. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons have lethal and precision. Obviously, that's going to be very strong against big bricks of stuff. In a mirror match, it's going to be very, very good. Just lethal is great, I think, especially when a lot of stuff has access to reroll hits. You've got Oath of Moment, for example. Ardor. Is that what you're saying? You've got a lot of access to reroll hits, so you're going to have having lethal is nice against larger targets. Obviously, being strength 6 with Sanguinary Guard is great. Anything that's toughness 10 is a bit annoying to kill. You just have a bunch of attacks on high AP, so lethal hits is going to be handy. And then precision just to get rid of characters as well, which is good. Adore. Chat, how do you do it? Chat, please. He doesn't even know what the word is. Chat doesn't even know what the word is, bro. Ardor. It's not pronounced wrong. Pronounce Ardor. Well, I don't feel like I'm being hypnotized.
Ardor.
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 Ardor. What? What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm working out how to say it.
How do you spell it?
Ardour. Ardour.
Ardour. Do you know what it means?
Ardour. Stronger, better, faster. Ardour. I know what it means. What's it mean?
If you do something with ardour, you do it with passion.
Unbridled ardour.
Yeah. Like
That's a great sentence, would you say?
Who wrote it? Not you.
Shut up. Ardour. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better. That's how it goes. That's how it goes, chat. Anyway. Descent of Angels. So obviously with this detachment you have a lot of play with Deep Strike, because obviously you're picking up units and putting them back down again. Now, you have a stratagem to Deep Strike 3 inches away, okay? And you can't charge. And everyone's like, well, that's shit. If only we had access to Inferno pistols, it'd be really good. 10 Inferno pistols, Deep Striking 3 away, it would be really sick. Well, it's pointed out to me by Mercenary Q, Mercenary Q, that fucking Vanguard veterans can still take 10 Inferno pistols. I didn't even know they could take any Inferno pistols. However, Vanguard veterans have access to basically every pistol in the game for Space Marines. So again, ranged weapons, one of them being an Inferno pistol, which is Melter 2. Can they take they can also take hand flamers, which is also interesting. Harder, better, faster, stronger, the official theme of Death Company. That's true. So what you can do with Descent of Angels is you can pick up Vanguard veterans and deep strike them with 10 Inferno pistols, which is obviously pretty gnarly. It's going to be pretty good. You can take it and do it with hand flamers if you want to get close. Obviously, hand flamers are 12 inches, but if you've got like screens and stuff, you can come down with flamers and make them a little bit more interesting as well. But obviously, the main one to think about is obviously Inceptors, Plasma Inceptors or otherwise, or Bolter Inceptors. Inceptors are a great unit. I took 18 to the World Championships. I probably will consider running 12 in this detachment because you can pick them up and deep strike them 3 away every turn because that's their ability. When they arrive from deep strike, they can just land 3 away. It's called Meteoric Descent, I believe it's called. Yeah, when it's set up on the battlefield using the deep strike ability, it can perform a meteoric descent. If it does, it can be set up anywhere more than 3 away, but it can't charge. So they have that ability automatically. So basically, with that, you can pick up. Well, first of all, you can deep strike a 3 away, pick them back up, and put them back down again next turn. Obviously, really, really good. What you can also do is start your Plasma Inceptors on the board, and then pick them up turn 1. If you go second, if you go second, you pick them up at the end of your opponent's first movement phase or first turn, and then in your first movement phase, you deep strike them 3 away, and you put insane pressure on the opponent from turn 1. Okay, yeah, you can pick up Sangard and charge them turn 1. You can pick up Death Company and charge them turn 1. But what you can also do is drop Inceptors on them very quickly because they have range. Okay, it's obviously something that I was running with Death Watch and like turn 1 deep strike, which is like very good offensive deep strike, not like just like a Calidus that's obviously really good at playing the mission and stuff. Picking up like 12 Plasma Inceptors and then putting them back down on the board in your first turn, 3 inches away, is going to be a very, very scary concept for your opponent because that's going to be an immediate threat that they have to deal with. And your counter to that, when they've taken down 12 Inceptors or whatever, is the rest of your army does something similar. It deep strikes 8 rapid ingresses because they've got to move around, you know. It rapid ingresses and then moves and charges. It deep strikes in your turn in places where they've had to like expose themselves to deal with 12 Plasma Inceptors. So I know a lot of people are talking about Liberator Assault, but I also think Angelic Host might have some real play of being much more. I think it's much more like a thinking man's army compared to Liberator, which I think is just all power go for it. I think Angelic Host is definitely going to be like a very interesting thinking person's army with multiple, at least 12 Sanguinary Guard, if not 18, depending on the points. With multiple units of Inceptors, whether that's multiple units of 6 or multiple units of 3. I think at least 2 units, or maybe 3 potentially, is going to be really good. You can start 2 on the board, and then put 1 in reserve if you really wanted to run 3. Maybe like 1 unit of 6 and 2 units of 3, which would be cool. I wouldn't recommend 18, but I will be trying it out. So I think Angelic Host looks really, really spicy, honestly. And I think a lot of people are overlooking it just because of how much play it has. I know, obviously, Plasma Inceptors is one of the first things that people spotted. But there's just so much more to go with it. And you've got access to Advance and Charge on any jump pack unit, which is obviously great. Now, the Liberator Assault Force is the one that everybody's talking about. This is the old Sons of Sanguinius. +2 strength, +1 attack. And +2 strength, +1 attack is nothing to be sniffed at, honestly. I think it's a great ability. It's so, so strong. It just makes all of your units way more efficient. But I also think if played correctly, you can take like a more balanced shooting / combat army with the Angelic Host compared to the Liberator Assault Force or the Sons of Sanguinius XOXO. But basically, the enhancements for the Liberator Assault group have are just like way better than the Sons of Sanguinius. For example, you have one that wants to battle, you have Fight First. Having Fight First is obviously great, and it's models in the Bearers unit, not just the model. So you could have like a captain with jump pack with 6 Sanguinary Guard, and then once a battle they have Fight First, they get charged, for example. You could Heroic Intervene into something and then have Fight First, which is obviously really good. And it's to start the fight phase, so it's after you know you're in the combat one, if you have to trigger it super early. But I think obviously a lot of people have talked about Liberator Assault Force, so I'm not going to dwell on it too long. I just think the 4 stratagems with the ability of going, you can have one ability, or you can Battle Shock by drinking the Red Thirst and fall into the Red Thirst and getting both, is such a fun, interesting list, or such fun, interesting mechanic. Even though it is just a stratagem, I think that just makes it feel so much closer to playing the Blood Angels army than any other detachment has managed to capture, being similar to its own detachment. Also feel like you're playing the army. It's such a cool mechanic. So as I say, if you don't know, there's 4 stratagems in here. There's Angelic Grace, which is Feel No Pain against Mortal Wounds, which is a really nice ability because Blood Angels just melt the mortal wounds. You have Armor of Contempt, just like normal, but then the 4 other stratagems: Red Rampage, Savage Echoes, Aggressive Onslaught, and Relentless Onslaught. Now, some of them are similar to the ones in Sons of Sanguinius, and some of them aren't. Some of them are brand new. But they have multiple abilities. For example, Red Rampage was used to be give a unit Lance and Lethal. Now, it's give it either Lance or Lethal. And then, if you want to, you can give your unit both of the abilities, but the unit becomes Battle Shock because they fall to the Red Thirst. That's just such an interesting way to make the army function like it should do in the lore. It's such like a cool, interesting way to do it. Because what it means is you start to get very good stratagems at the cost of becoming Battle Shocked until your next turn or whenever. You know, again, like Lance and Lethal is a great stratagem and probably too cheap at 1 CP, because Lethal is great, Lance is even better. But being able to take both at 1 CP but only becoming Battle Shot is like the downside, and having the choice for it is such a cool way to do it, and it makes it feel very flavorful. It makes it feel like, oh, well, he's gonna drink the Kool-Aid and get both the abilities, you know. So there's one here. So Savage Echoes is select either the strength or attacks of melee weapon and increase it by 1. You can instead get both by becoming Battle Shocked and fall into the Red Thirst. Aggressive Onslaught. You can shoot or declare a charge, or even though it advanced, you can instead to shoot and declare a charge by becoming Battle Shocked. Again, it's just like such a cool way to do it. And the thing is with it is Liberate Assault Group, with the fact that you're buffing the attack and strength, you have options to buff the attack and strength again. So you can actually have +1 strength, +1 attack when you are charged, because the problem is with Blood Angels is if you are charged, you obviously don't get your strength benefit, which is obviously a bit of a pain in the bum. You have access to that. You have access to advance and charge. You have access to fall back and charge. You have access to lance. You have access to feel no pain against mortal wounds. That just makes a Liberator Assault Group just stand out a lot more to people. And again, I don't think you should overlook the Angelic Host. I think if you're a bit of a if you like a puzzle of Warhammer, which I definitely do. The thing is with it is Warhammer, you can kind of go like multiple ways of like list building. It's like kind of like you go raw power, take everything that's going to kill shit. Or you can go for more like a thinking man's army, which has a lot of tricks that if you cock up, you can lose quite quickly. But when you pull it off, it's like such euphoria. It's such like enjoyable way to play Warhammer, where you can kind of like 4D chess your opponent and play around them to not let them do what they want to do, and you have so many tricks to stop them doing what they want to do or throw off their plans or get in the way. That's where Angelic Host really, really excites me, to be honest. So that's really, really fun, and I think that's really, really cool. And again, I think a lot of it is just getting overlooked for Liberator Assault Group, but I think the +2 strength, +1 attack with all of the really good stratagems, I also totally get it. I also totally understand. Now, as obviously we talked about like the Data sheets, obviously Joe's mentioned that there's 3 new captains in here. There's a Blood Angels captain, which is just an Inferno pistol. I don't know why it needs a whole nother data sheet, because that just means you can take 3 Blood Angels captains, 3 Death Company captains, 3 captains with jump pack, 3 Death Company captains with jump pack, and you can run the dumbest captain army. But like, I don't understand why have a rule of 3 and then just add a data sheet that all the difference is that you could take an Inferno pistol. Well, we know that loads of units in the Space Marine Codex can now take Inferno pistols because of Blood Angels, because they brought Blood Angels kits out with Inferno pistols. So it's just strange, but it's just whatever. But like, it's nice that you can take an Inferno pistol. If I get a Blood Angels captain model, I'll probably just I'll probably paint him as a Death Company captain, just because I don't have one. I don't think you need a whole Blood Angels captain data sheet for a whole new model. I do still think the plasma's really good. I don't think you need like a 6-inch Inferno pistol with a unit. 12 captains led by Dante sounds ace. It's doable. It's definitely doable. Definitely doable. But I just think in a captain squad, in a squad with a captain, you usually don't need an extra Inferno pistol, because it's only really like a jump pack unit you want an Inferno pistol on because of the speed, being able to get close. So I just don't think you need it. Rule of 3 needs to apply to keywords like captain or chaplain. Yeah, probably. You're probably right. But the biggest glow up, the biggest data sheet that's had a glow up in this is Astaroth. Obviously, every Astaroth comes in the new box. I don't think people realize just how big the Astaroth is compared to the old one. Look at the fucking state of it. Literally, the guy she told you not to worry about. 5'11", 6 foot. It's fucking wild how big it is. It's crazy. Honestly crazy. But obviously, Astaroth is probably the one that makes up the issue of Death Company now. Obviously, as I've mentioned earlier, Death Company aren't quite the powerhouse that they used to be, because they've only got 5 special melee weapons rather than 10 max, you know? You've essentially got 5 Death Company and 5 ablative models. However, when you have Massive Doom, which is each time this unit makes a charge move until the end of the phase, models equipped have the devastating wounds ability. Suddenly, all your Death Company become very, very strong, because doing mortal wounds is obviously really, really good. Or doing devastating wounds is obviously really, really good. Because the utility you've lost in damage output because you've lost Underhammers, lost Power Fist, you've suddenly gained in the fact that all those chainswords have a bunch of attacks that are re-rolling hits that can be re-rolling wounds, depending on what detachment you're running. They suddenly all have an option, like they can all suddenly damage anything with mortal wounds, which is obviously really, really good. The problem is you lose lethal, so you are less likely to get wounds through, unless you're using a detachment that has access to lethal, such as Liberator Assault Group. And you lose the -1 damage from Lamarties. So it suddenly makes the Death Company not the be-all, end-all type unit that they were. It makes them much more like a play-around unit, kind of like a, not a hammer unit, but also not like a, they're not really like a glass cannon either. They're kind of like in a weird mid-ground where they kind of can do a lot of damage, but they'll die very quickly and will be that glass hammer if you take Astaroth. Or you can take fucking Lamarties, where they're not going to hit quite as hard, but they're going to be a bit more survivable with the -1 damage. So it's kind of like an interesting one, and it suddenly makes you like, rather than just going Death Company Lamarties, you're going to have to consider, if you want to take Death Company, which character you're going to take with them and what the rest of the list is doing with it. Because obviously the Death Company nerf is huge, and again, it just really depends on the points. If Death Company with jump packs stay at 280 points for 10, that will honestly be, I think no one will run them. They'll just run Sandguard instead. Because they don't quite have the punch or the oomph that they used to, you know. Or take 2 squads on both characters. I think that's too much, you know. Again, I tried it the other day. It was fun. I think in most armies it's going to be too much, because you are starting to go, I actually do want Sanguinary Guard. I actually do want maybe Librarian Mephisto, who's a great unit right now. Mephisto is such a good a good model, and he's exactly what he used to be, which is what he's a demon prince. He's a mini demon prince. He always has been. That's his whole lore. He's a mini demon prince. And it shows on his datasheet now. Lone operative. Feel no pain for fight first. Strength 9, -3 D3 damage in combat with lethal. And he's got his Fury of the Ancients, his sustained pistol, which is just his psychic power of like strength 5, -2 D3 damage. He can advance and charge. He moves 7. He's exactly where he should be. But obviously, with all these extra options you have now, you're probably not just going, I'm just going to take as many Death Company as possible, which obviously I did on Saturday because I spent fucking all week painting Death Company from the box. So I obviously wanted to try the Death Company Detachment, but as it stands, they are too expensive. Strength 11 in Liberator, yeah. Yeah, or Strength 10 on a counter charge. If someone counter charged him, you make him Strength 10 with an extra attack, because he'll have 7 attacks on the charge. Let me catch up with chat. I appreciate I'm doing a lot of rambling, but I'm very excited about this codex, you know. There's a lot to play with, a lot to consider when you're building lists, which is cool. Watchmasters now captains are still technically meant to be on 32mm basis. Say with Artemis, hilariously. Every new captain / character marine release base size is me envious. What's wrong with 32? 32 is better. You can get in smaller places, which is cool. Or strength 12 distract. Now the strat's only when you are charged. Unless they heroic intervene, I don't think you can use it. And no, it's only your opponent's charge phase you can. The +1 strength, +1 attack is only in their charge phase. The 32mm good. Because you can get in smaller places. You can get in some tighter gaps without engaging combat, which is cool. Less tactical rock. I mean, true. I think the problem is like Lamartes and Astorath, whilst they've been Primarist, they haven't really addressed like Primaris as a thing in 10th edition. I don't know if you've noticed. Lamartes only has 4 wounds. I'm surprised he didn't have 5. Everybody has 6 or more. A Blood Angels captain has 5. Astorath only has 5. Small base gangs and his small ball gang. True, Tom, true. A Sanguinary Priest has 4, you know? Like, a Lamartes, even though he's a named character, definitely feels like a support character in terms of, like, his survivability. 2 up, 4 up, 4 wounds just feels so weird. I'm so surprised it's not 5. I think a Chaplain has 5. Maybe not, I don't remember. No, Chaplain has 4, but Astras has 5. It's just so weird. It's just so weird. I don't know why they never bumped him up. He's on a bigger base, but then the datasheet remained exactly the same. Same with Sanguinor as well. The Sanguinor is obviously a really good profile, but he remained the same as well. He went from a 25mm to a 50mm for no change. His model is obviously new when it comes out. We don't know when that is. But the rules are exactly the same, and there's none of this like crossing the Rubicon Primaris anymore. They have just like binned it off, I think. They've just gone, yeah, fuck it, we're just making them bigger now. Which is funny. Very funny. I think for me it's more to do with easy conversions. Gameplay wise it's easy, just odd how they couldn't bump it up. Yeah, they won't bump up the model until they release a new model, because the Watchmaster on a 40mm base will look weird because he's still tiny compared to new models. Obviously, like a Blood Angels captain is on a 40mm now. Sanguinor's on a 50, but they're all new, and Lamarte's on a 40, but they're all new models. Did you look at Ines' list? Yeah, we had a nosy, yeah. Just catching up with chat. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for tuning in. If you've got any questions about Blood Angels, I know you've probably seen a lot of it. As I said, the book fucking leaked a few days before, as per usual. And I know a lot of people already gone over it. But if you've got any other questions or my thoughts or feelings about it, then do pipe up. And I do appreciate you all hanging out. And I'm just excited. I'm just a bit gutted. I wanted to do loads of battle reports with every detachment this week. But I'm still on the mind of a bit with no points, what's the point? Quite literally, you know. It's like, what's the point in like trying to like hash it all out? Yeah, it's fun to try out the detachments, but it's just like you don't really know how many points things are, so you don't really. You can learn things, you can learn how the army works, but you don't know if you're playing over points or under points or what. And the problem is, you're just like having to wait for fucking ages. You know, I'm gonna say that's like a month. That's my biggest problem with the FOMO boxes, is you get the Codex and then you don't know what he does. You think Battle Predators are worth it? Battle Predators are just better than they were. Yeah, definitely. I don't think you'd run 2 now, but I still think 1's good. You know? You don't need 1 in the list, but I definitely think they're like a, what, 120 points, 125 points? Just because I like unusual builds, are your thoughts on running scouts with knives going for a turn 1 charge at 7-6? Yeah, 100% valid tactic. Yeah, like 2 units of scouts charging turn 1 is hilarious. If you're playing Blood Angels, always put your scouts in a place where if they scout backwards because you go second, you can get them safe. And if you scout forwards, you can go and charge turn 1. Because you're infiltrating and moving 12 before the game starts. Or before your charge phase, sorry. If you're looking to no, Des, it's only in the opponent's charge phase you can use the strat. You can't heroically intervene your opponent's turn, then charge another unit into. Wait, if you heroically intervene in your opponent's turn, then they charge another unit into you can use the strat. No, because if you heroically intervene, you don't get the charge benefit. If you're heroically intervene, you don't get the charge benefit, which means if you won't get each time if it's made a charge move this turn, right? Surely you don't get the +2 strength, +1 attacks, but you don't get fights first. You know? Unless that needs FAQing, I suppose. If that unit made a charge move until the end of the phase, add 1 to attacks and +2 strength of the +2 strength of melee weapons. But if you make a heroic intervention, you don't get any charge benefit. Surely that's a charge benefit, +2 strength. No, that even if this charge is successful, your unit does not receive any charge bonus this turn. That's why Jack Harpster was saying you do get it. No, I don't think so. I think that's bollocks. No, I think that's going to be wrong. I think that'll get FAQ'd out. You don't get always strikes first from charging. What? Yes, you do. You do get the +1 attack and +2 strength as you made a charge move. Surely that's not right, though. Because what's a charge benefit other than something that happens on the charge? Charge bonus. Bestowed on a unit that made a charge move so that until the end of the turn that unit has the fight burst ability. Note that other rules and abilities that trigger when a unit makes charge move on the charge are not part of the charge bonus. But then heroic intervention says the benefit of charging. I said charge bonus this turn. How weird. I think I'm mixing up benefit and bonus. How weird. Yeah, I get that now. I never played it that way. I just said, "Oh, you don't get it because I didn't. It's not my because you don't get the charge benefit." But that's not a charge or charge bonus even. But that's not a charge bonus, I guess. Which is why they always try its first enhancement is bonkers good. Yeah, true. That feels weird though. To get like one buff from charging, but not another one from charging. That feels strange, in my opinion. That feels like the bloatedness, you know? Like it's been overlooked. But then again, they've said it specifically. It just feels weird, you know? I was looking then at the Sanguinor, but then obviously the Sanguinor doesn't make any sort of move. He just gets set up. Because I was like, he never gets fight. He has fight first. He never gets a +2 strength. I wasn't sure if I'd been playing that wrong. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It's not something I considered. Because I'm like, well, you don't get the charge bonus, so you don't get the bonus from charging. You know? In my head, that makes sense. So in theory, for 2 CP in your opponent's charge phase, you could get +3 strength and a perfect storm. Yeah, if you... in your opponent's charge phase, you could use Heroic Intervention to charge. Oh, wait, Heroic Intervention is at the end? No, it's just after an unit makes a charge. So Heroic Intervention, after they make a charge, to make combat, for them then to charge you again, you could get +3 strength, +2 attacks. So yes, for 3 CP, unless you got a captain nearby, that could work. It just doesn't sound like it should, but you will be striking second unless you take Speed of the Primarch. So unless you've got 3 CP, a very particular set of skills, an enhancement, and just so happen to be in that situation, it could be done. +3 strength, +2 attacks. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Captain with jump pack. On the turn you charge. Each time it ends a charge move until the end of the turn, add 1 strength. So, if you heroically intervene, and then are charged yourself, and that unit happens to be a captain with a jump pack attached to Vanguard veterans, for example, you would have lethal hits at strength +4 and 2 attacks. You would have strength 9 Vanguard veterans with lethal. Oh, that'd be very funny. That would be very, very funny, actually. Does the unit with jump packs do impact hits and mortal wounds? The assault intercessors do, but not any jump pack unit, no. Is there any other way you get ++ strength? You could give him Rage Fueled Warrior as well, and well, no, you can't do that. Ignore me. Is there anywhere this is written down so I can show it to the local TO? Yeah, the book I'm holding, dude. But yeah, you can. If you manage to get +4 Vanguard veterans naturally, if you manage to do that, that'd be very impressive. But it's just never gonna happen. Is that broken? I don't think so. It's such a weird situation. But it's doable. Heroic intervention with some impact hits would be a good throwaway unit against single model entity. Yeah, that's Assault Intercessor, I think. Assault Intercessor with jump packs. Each time this unit enters charge move, select enemy unit with engagement range of it. Roll a d6 for each model in that unit that this is with engagement range of that enemy unit. For a 4+ take more oil. You give them Lance as well, so they win pretty much anything on 2s. You want this in the always fight first enhancement. Yeah, we said that. Yeah, so you need speed of the Primarch. You need to be charged, but not charged yourself, so you can heroically intervene. To then use Savage Echoes. But then fight first with speed of the Primarch. You would be strength 9. It's funny. It's funny. That's an interesting thing. I never considered that. I said, whenever I've heroically intervened, I've gone, oh, I don't get the charge bonus. But the charge bonus is exclusively fight first. So I think that language is weird. You know what I mean? That language could just be, on a turn you use heroic intervention, you don't gain fight first. But I guess they've kind of gone, we'll call it charge bonus. How weird. How very weird. Hey. Anyway, I think that's about it for today's stream. I think we've talked everything about Blood Angels. I don't think there's anything I've really missed. Obviously, there's a bunch of fucking units missing, but I mean, that's just like by the by these days, right? Sadly, it's by the by. I think I missed it, but just in case I haven't. Free Radio, thanks for the 5. Ginger Steve, thanks for the 5. And Sir Galahad, thank you for the gift of membership as well today. Really appreciate it. Do all this and roll 8 ones to wound. Yeah. You can't charge it without fight first. That's why all my play brings up fight first. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I'm going to call it a night there, chat. I don't think we're going to be hitting the giveaway goal. We are pretty close to 700 now, though. But I think at the end of in the next couple of days, we're going to really, you know, we've had a good couple of streams at the end of this month. And I think with this number, I don't think we'll ever hit 700. So we're going to be calling it a night there. So thanks for hanging out. What's the final verdict? Yay or nay? I think, honestly, this is one of the best codexes that Games Workshop has released. And sadly, it's a supplement. That's my final verdict. Because every detachment, even though there's only 3, there's only half of a normal codex, unless you're Tyranids or Tower or whatever. The final verdict is, I think every detachment is definitely playable. We don't have any points. Stick a pin in it. Every detachment feels very playable. I think the Angelic Host feels very fun. The Liberator Assault feels very powerful. But overall, I think all of the units feel really like... Every unit in this book, you look at and you go, I could include that in my list. You know? You know? Every unit. There's not a unit in here that you go, I'm not going to take that. You know? I would never take that. And I genuinely believe that. Which is... Obviously, it's a supplement. But it feels like whoever wrote this knows what Blood Angel players want. It just has it. I guess the only unit you might not consider is Death Company Marines with bolt rifles. That's it, okay? That one, we'll let slide. We'll let that one slide. One data sheet and a whole codex sheet, you go, you know what, actually, I don't think I'd ever take that. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good going. So I'm really excited to play. Sadly, again, I won't be live this Friday because we're going to be live at the Super All-Stars 2 all weekend. That was the big event announcement. We are live streaming Super All-Stars 2, and we're also giving away that Blood Angels box right there. So that's why we're not live this Friday for another battle report. But we won't have the points for a while. That's the problem. Also, not taking the Brutalis. I think the Death Company Dread has play. I think you can play it. It's not a bad unit, but again, we don't know the points, so we just don't know the points. If it's like the same points as a Brutalis, you might consider it. You know. Which table / terrain on stream? We don't have a matchup yet, but because we've got 6 rounds, we're hoping to have every table on stream. Every terrain type. But I'll be doing the pairings probably tomorrow. We just need to do some final list check-ins. If anyone spotted anything with lists, do let us know. We are checking them. But I want to, like, if you are checking lists for Super All-Stars 2, you are having a nosy. If you see anything, just drop me a DM and I can get it fixed, you know? Because if I do it if I do it after pairings and then we notice there's an issue, it's going to be a pain in the bum. But I'm not going to ask anyone to do it specifically because we're not scummy like other tournaments. You're coming to an event, we're checking it, but we're just kind of like, people are naturally going to look, so if you do spot anything, just let us know. But yeah, that's it. So thanks so much for watching tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to the people who gifted and sent super chats. That's really cool. Apologies if I'm feeling really under the weather. I think I'm a bit stressed with all the organising and the long weekend of streaming, and I've been like up every day, up to Sanctuary nearly every day, sorting terrain and stuff. So I'm like really like feeling a bit under the weather. So sorry if this stream was a little bit less energetic than it was like last week. But I do really appreciate you hanging out. I really appreciate you like watching the streams and just listening and getting involved with the conversation. So, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I said this is the most members we've ever had. I think we're very close to hitting 700, which would be very cool. If we can hit 700 before the end of the month, that'd be crazy. And I just want to say huge thanks. So thank you. I really appreciate you all. I'll be back Wednesday, probably for the morning news. If you have become members, obviously we have the Parasocial Club. I bought the gear that I need. I have the gear that I need for the stream idea, but I'm just like trying to find time to set it up is actually really tough. I wish I'd started it months ago, but I kind of like had the idea in the back of my head and I've been putting it off for a while. I basically got this week or next week to do the weird stream idea because then Space Marine 2 comes out. I don't really fancy playing Space Marine 1 after Space Marine 2 is already out. So I'm hopefully going to be doing it next week. That's the plan. Because obviously I'm streaming this weekend. I'll probably have a couple of days off and I'll probably come back with a Space Marine live play, which should be funny. But that's it. So thanks so much for watching and hopefully I'll catch you next time. All right, I'll see you Wednesday for the morning news. We'll talk all the shit. We'll talk about the last bit of drama and all the All-Stars gossip. So we'll see you there, and if not, we'll see you the weekend, baby.